So hello and welcome to today's rather big video about buddy cut content. Nothing new for the channel, as you're probably familiar with by now, but today we're doing something a little bit different because we're going over all the cut content and changes involving the greaser click. As many of them as I can find anyway. So sit back as we have a hell of a lot of cut content to go over with the greasers. Now I'm not going to go over every single mission change because Buddy's missions are changed way too much to be covered in a single video like this, and a lot of them are cut interactions as well. So I'll cover some of the more bigger, interesting stuff with the missions involving the greasers. So in the mission Beach Rumble, instead of Ricky automatically helping Jimmy with the trophies after the cutscene ends, Jimmy would have chased Justin, not Gord interestingly enough, to an ambush, and Ricky and Lucky would see Jimmy being attacked and then come to his aid.
You better stop acting all tough, Hopkins, or I'll make you regret it.
You and what army?
Look behind you, Hopkins. Take care of him, boys.
Hey, Jimmy, you want some help handling those losers? Whoa. That'll be $5 each.
Jealous Johnny was a much longer, more stealthier mission. Instead of just going to Bullworth Town, taking 3 photos of Lola and Gord and returning, Jimmy would stalk the pair throughout their entire date, eventually ending with Gord trying to unhook Lola's bra, but he fails to do so, and Lola just gets frustrated and leaves. The only remnant to this mission idea is the busted photo that Jimmy gets in his dorm room, which shows the pair at the gazebo in Bullworth Vale. The mission bait originally took place in a completely different BMX park, and the leftover file can be loaded to force spawn the original location. But this was cut and the game crashes shortly after. Interestingly though, the location where the greaser spawned seemed to be the same location as the unused interior from Blue Skies, and neither exterior seems big enough to fit an entire BMX park inside. In the script files there is a somewhat incomplete yet fully playable mission named Rendezvous. The mission premise seems to take place before the mission's wrong part of town and tagging, as it introduces Jimmy to Lola, who would entice Jimmy to protect her and Tad Spencer. The cutscene is completely done, but the mission itself has no audio, despite there being full audio files for it, so I'd say the mission is about 80% done. It's fully playable from start to end. There is also another completely removed mission that takes place at the Bullworth Town Motel. Unfortunately, it's extremely unfinished and crashes the game. There's no audio files, so we don't really know what the mission was about, but the first objective is to take out 3 greasers who are just standing around, but according to the leftover script they would be vandalising a dumpster. So we know the greasers would play a role in this somehow. But once those 3 greasers are dealt with, the game just crashes. The fight you have with Norton Williams in the mission The Tenements was supposed to take place in a much smaller room with no weapon pickups. In the same mission actually you can see a door which is closed, which is where the fight was supposed to take place. Weirdly though, this door is called Norton Door, and it isn't there if you enter the tenements outside of this mission. The Rumble was also much bigger and quite different. After the main cutscene with Lola ended, it started with a completely different scene. All of the preps, including Darby Harrington, launch a full-on assault on the greasers in New Coventry, catching them by surprise, leading Peanut to tell the greasers to try and hold the preps off while he runs off and finds Johnny, and Jimmy would have had to follow Peanut to find Johnny.
Alright men, this is it! Time to show those lowlife scum their proper place! If you don't stick it out, I'll make sure no good school will ever accept you! Let's go!
Yeah!
Come on!
There's some. Get him!
Go! Get to Johnny, we'll cover your back!
911 is a joke! Get out of here!
The ending part to Finding Johnny Vincent, where Johnny says I've got to find Lola to see if it's true or not, that wasn't a joke. It was actually supposed to tie into an earlier version of the mission The Collector, which instead of having Jimmy stealing bugs for Clint, Jimmy would stumble upon Lola with Edgar Munson and some other townies, hinting that those rumours were in fact true. Rather weirdly, this mission only exists on the Wii version. Now, as many of you know, in Here's to You Ms. Phillips, for some reason Peanut and the other greasers are hostile to Jimmy, and will attack him on sight. And many players have wondered why, because it is a very strange thing to do. But the original mission objective was that Peanut was also going to get Ms. Phillips' items, thinking he too had a chance at a date with her, and as such he and the greasers would ambush Jimmy, steal the items, and Jimmy would have to get them back. In complete mayhem, instead of just beating up Johnny then going on to the next leader, there were 2 post scenes that were done after this. Both of these are scrapped of course. The first one is that Jimmy would beat up Johnny and Johnny would agree to tell his group to stop the fighting. The second one however is much more interesting, as the original segment had Jimmy entering the girls' dorm and he would hear a lot of smashing going on, and as Jimmy heads upstairs he would encounter Norton on the stairs and proceed to fight him, Then after dealing with Norton, Jimmy would stumble upon Johnny cheating on Lola with an unknown girl, which is likely Mandy Wiles. And Johnny begs Jimmy not to tell Lola. Audio files only exist for Johnny's part however, while Norton's part only exists in a very early test script.
Alright, Jimmy, you're the boss. Sorry, I forgot.
It's alright, Johnny. Now help me get this under control.
No sweat, Jimmy, I got it. Oh, Jimmy, you saw us. Please don't tell Lola.
On one condition. You get your crew to stop fighting.
Anything you say, Jimmy, just don't tell.
Also, as we know, in Chapter 3, Bullworth becomes completely snowed over. But this may have been a late addition as well, because all of the Chapter 3 cutscene missions actually have 2 audio files for the cutscene. One of them is suffixed with W, obviously meaning winter. The only difference between these, of course, are the footstep sounds, where the ones that are suffixed with W obviously have the sound of somebody walking in snow, while the regular ones just have the sound of people walking on concrete, and here's a brief comparison. So when it comes to fighting, the Greasers have their fair amount of changes here. Like for one, the Greasers have an unused low variation of their theme, and it's odd because the Preppies and Jocks also have this and it is heard in some missions, like Tad's House, which plays the Preppies theme, and No Safe It, which plays a low variation of the Jocks theme, so it is very likely this low variation of the Greaser theme may have been used in the mission originally. Also very oddly, in the mission The Eggs, if you mod your way into Tad's home once the ambush starts, the Preppies here are using a Greaser fighting style, but even more oddly is that this style is actually unused. It's not known why it's given to the Preps here, but my best guess is you're never supposed to come here, so Rockstar probably didn't care to give them the default Preppies one. And during the mission Wrong Part of Town, when you see Johnny and the Greasers harassing Cornelius, you can see Johnny doing this animation. And this animation is actually from a removed move of his, which you can see here. So one of the biggest criticisms Buddy has is how the majority of main characters we meet throughout the story just flat out never spawn in free mode. All of the clique leaders, Pete, Gary and Dr. Crabblesnitch just don't appear in free mode at all, well except Russell and Zoe. Well, every single one of them have lines of being in free mode, and if you mod them back in somehow, they all fit in flawlessly with the world. Like if we mod in Johnny, you can see him conversing with the Greasers, he has lines for threatening people, greeting others, and even small things like reacting to weapons being fired. Which pretty much shows that, like the rest of the main cast in Buddy, Johnny was going to be in free mode at some point, without the use of modding.
Sup?
Hey, man. Jimmy, lay off.
You want some?
I'm thinking of kicking your butt. Chump. Get out of here, kid. Don't talk trash about Lola, jerk.
So when it comes to the original designs of the Greasers, unfortunately we only have 2 known models for Johnny and Peanut. Johnny looked considerably older and had a yellow tie instead of his traditional sweater under the jacket. This is probably one of Johnny's earliest designs, and yes, he is with a completely deleted character, that's Sid, not Jimmy. Now Peanut looked more stereotypical and exaggerated, which is what the original designs of Buddy were going to be. Peanut's pompadour is comically large, and like the majority of characters in this time frame, he also wore predominantly burgundy colours instead of his brown jacket and blue sweater. Now this was changed of course when the exaggerated models were toned down a bit, and Peanut's clothes changed colours when the Greasers adopted the black and brown colour scheme. Former Rockstar character designer Jared Fry did actually have some earlier designs up, but all of them are rather close to the final version. The big changes are very small, with the biggest one being Johnny sporting a different haircut, and looks like he might have had some facial hair, and Norton Williams just has a completely different face. The rest of them do seem to be mostly the same, just before they had a few touch-ups. Well, all of them except one, and that of course is Lola. Now when you see Lola in this picture, you probably think she looks the exact same, doesn't she? And she does. but she did have a few questionable choices with her design models. One design of hers actually had her and the rest of the girls actually in their underwear. This is reflected by the file name of the pyjama models used for the girls, which is suffixed with _UW, and this was changed to become pyjamas very late into the game's development. Another very odd thing is the mermaid at the carnival. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. The mermaid has nothing to do with the greasers. She's just something you see in the freak show, and you're right. But the thing is, when data miners pulled the mermaid's model, very weirdly the bare chest was actually called Lola_UW_body, meaning the mermaid's model is likely using Lola's original cut underwear model, albeit altered. It should come to the surprise of absolutely nobody why Rockstar had to change this, especially hot off the heels of the infamous hot coffee scandal from GTA San Andreas. Something like this would have absolutely fanned the flames even more, and probably would have put Rockstar into some serious trouble. Another greaser that has a small change is Ricky Puccino. So Ricky's role in the story is rather small. He assists Jimmy in the mission The Rumble, and that's about it. But it appears that Ricky was going to be on friendly terms with Jimmy canonically, as in the deleted mission The Paddle, Jimmy would seek out Ricky's help on distracting the jocks, by having him flirt with Mandy to goad the jocks into a fight. While doing this, Jimmy could plant the paddle in Damon's bag while he was off chasing Ricky, and here's the audio files for that.
So, I want you to go talk to Mandy and cause some ruckus.
Sure, no prob. Hey, Honeypot, you look a little sticky. Want me to help clean you?
What is your problem?
My problem is I can't stop thinking about you, baby.
Guys! Ricky's being a pervert! Help me!
Yo, Ricky, back off.
Whatever, dude, she likes it.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
First, you gotta catch me.
So when Rockstar released Buddy's Scholarship Edition, they introduced a brand new mission called Mailbox Armageddon, which sees Jimmy smashing up the preppies' mailboxes for Clint, aka Henry. But this mission, or well, at least the entire concept behind it, was different. Originally it wasn't a mission, but it was supposed to be a minigame, and it was supposed to be given to you by Peanut Romano located at the gas station in Bullworth Town. The original file name is free_S08_peanut, which also says that Mailbox Armageddon was supposed to be in Chapter 3 originally. This may explain why the actual mission featured in the Scholarship Edition just flat out teleports you to Old Bullworth Vale when the scene ends, because the spawn is about 7 seconds away from the gas station, whereas in the final version, Jimmy just, well, flat out teleports halfway across the map. Whether this version of it was still a minigame when it was done under Peanut or changed to Henry is unknown, but the original concept was very similar to Paper Route anyway, as we know by the mission. Jimmy just smashes mailboxes and he has to do it within a time limit, with the time limit getting stricter each level, which is very similar to Paper Route where you had to throw newspapers at them, which is probably why it was relegated to a singular mission, because it does seem very repetitive in this way. One mission has you throwing stuff at them and the other one just has you smacking them with bats. So next up we have a detention change. So during Chapter 3, if Jimmy gets detention, he's tasked with doing snow shoveling instead of lawn mowing, and if you somehow get busted over 15 times and do the detention minigame 3 times at the library, you'll be tasked with doing snow shoveling at the parking lot instead. And there's unused quotes from Peanut and Hal who would find it quite entertaining that Jimmy's doing detention.
Who said you could shovel snow on our turf? Hey, you missed a spot. Hey Jim, how's your back feeling? Nice job, Jimmy. Hard work? There's a lot more snow over here, Jim.
Hey, look at that teacher's pet! Nice shovel, loser! Haha, someone's in trouble. Hey, you wanna do my driveway when you're done? Looks like someone got busted.
Also possibly related to the snow, but a lot of characters have these weird audio files named CARSNOW, or CARSNOW, depending on how you look at it of course, which have these various characters laughing at something alongside mentioning someone's coming. These include 3 greasers, Clint, Donald and Lance, alongside Mr. Matthews and Ms. Peters. And while the audio files don't reveal much, the name of CARSNOW or CARSNOW might have implied the 6 boys were doing something to the teacher's cars. And it's not really known what Jimmy would have been doing during this time either.
Look at him!
Oh no, we're in trouble now.
Aw crap, now we're in for it.
Check it out, they're coming.
Oh darn.
Now we're in for it! Loser!
Excuse me, what are you doing?
I am forever grateful.
So one set of side missions that Buddy has are click challenges. You do a quick minigame, you get a new save point. And the only mandatory one that Jimmy does is Prep Challenge, where he takes on 3 people in a boxing tournament and wins. But this was completely different. Originally the challenges were called Vendetta and split up into 3 parts. The Vendetta Preps mission had Peanut seeking out Jimmy's help in ambushing the Preps. It's assumed the first one would have taken place in New Coventry. Peanut is unhappy that some Preps might be looking at moving in.
Hey man, look, I got a job for you.
Keep talking.
Bunch of preppy posers are hanging out by the market, probably looking for property to buy.
I bet you don't like that.
No, we don't need no gentrification around here. Run them off and I'll pay you. Deal.
The second one also followed a similar get-up. Jimmy finds Peanut mad the Preppies are hosting a party in Bulworth Vales Park, and he's unhappy because they never invited him, so he pays Jimmy to ruin their party by beating them all up.
Hey, why so glum?
Those Preps are having a party in the park in old Bulworth Vale, and they didn't invite me.
Can you blame them?
No, they're afraid I'll get with their girls. Still, go kick their butt for me, would you?
Sure thing, as long as you pay.
And as for the third part, as you can guess, it also had Peanut being unhappy the Preps had their own beach house, and Peanut had Jimmy crash his party too, by going straight to the beach house and beating them all up. And once this is done, Jimmy takes full control of the beach house, and you unlock the save point. But there are some unused lines from Preps in this one too.
Hey Jimmy, the Preps got themselves a house, just for partying. Bunch of spoiled brats.
And you want me to ruin it for them, just like the park party?
Yeah, I'm very jealous of rich kids.
You don't say. Where's this house?
Down by the beach.
My trust fund is bigger than your trust fund.
Maybe, but my daddy has more mistresses than yours.
Hello, gentlemen. Mind if I join you?
You? Yes, we do mind, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'm staying, so you better get the hell out of here then.
And this is also why the Beach Club Safehouse has these two unused doors. This part of the Preps Vendetta challenge was going to be extremely similar to that of the Greasers and Townies challenge, where Jimmy would just beat them all up, survive a couple of waves, and it's done. So what about Vendetta Greasers? Now this one is a bit of a strange one, because it seems to be given to you by what appears to be a preppy version of Damon. He's willing to pay Jimmy to beat up Greasers who are hanging out at the gazebo in Bulworth Vale.
Hey peasant, wanna make a bit of money?
Always.
Some undesirables have wandered into Bulworth Vale, our neighborhood.
Must be awful for you.
Indeed, be a good boy and get rid of them. I'll make it worth your while.
The second objective had Damon paying Jimmy to assault the Greasers outside the Chinese restaurant in New Coventry. And unlike the previous one, this one seems to be a bit more unprovoked, because Damon feels they didn't get the message the first time.
Hey Jimmy, I have another job for you.
Let's hear it.
I don't think they got the message. I'd like you to bring it to them.
You mean beat them up?
Yeah, they usually hang out by the Chinese restaurant in New Coventry.
And in the finale, Damon reveals the Greasers have broken into the Blue Pools Hall, and he pays Jimmy to clear them out, because he claims it's his dad's property. And this one is pretty much the exact same as it is in the final.
Good to see you, Jimmy boy. Seems like those greaseballs have taken to loitering in an abandoned pool hall.
Maybe they like pool?
Perhaps. Either way, it belongs to my daddy, and I won't have those freeloaders, freeload.
Let me guess. You want me to drive the Greasers out?
Very good, Jimmy. That's exactly it. A matter of principle. I'll pay you well.
What, war footage and natural disasters doesn't do it for you?
Nice place you guys have found. I think I'll take it.
What do you want, Hopkins?
I want you gone. Get lost.
On the subject of the Greaser Safehouse, while we're here, we might as well go over a few oddities and cut content of its own. So first of all, a strange oddity is the entrance to the toilets. It's completely locked until you beat Ted in complete mayhem, where for some completely strange reason, and I really don't know why, as soon as Ted falls in that mission, then this door becomes unlocked, which technically means the very last area in Bully you will unlock is the Greaser Safehouse toilets. Secondly, the dartboard you see here wasn't just for decoration. It may have been a place where Jimmy could partake in the unused darts minigame, which of course only has strings and sounds left over. There's an earlier photo of the Safehouse which shows it looking much more run down, and another photo which shows there being a wall next to the door as well. And lastly, if you know clip 8, there may have been another room here because it's all completely solid. There's also some very strange turf oddities involving the Greasers. As you know, the various cliques can be found at very specific places. The nerds at the library, preppies in Bulworth Vale and so on. But the Greasers have the strangest turf in the entire game. During a few Chapter 1 missions, these of course being the setup, character sheets and defend Bucky, the auto shop becomes completely run over with bullies. There's not a single greaser to be seen. And in New Coventry, when it turns to night, the townies completely take over. There's not a single greaser to be found here either. Another oddity is during the Scholarship Edition mission Balls of Snow, only townies are seen in New Coventry, which implies the greasers getting the auto shop and New Coventry was a very late choice. And let's go over a few map changes with New Coventry, because it is the greasers' turf, and there are a considerable amount of strange oddities to go over. So, with New Coventry, there is an unfinished abandoned building that Jimmy was going to be able to access, and you've probably passed it multiple times and never thought anything of it. And that's because it's the destroyed building you passed at the Johnny Vincent bike race, or the building behind the bus stop. But anyway, if you enter here via no clipping, you'll see there's just nothing here at first. It's just an empty void, as to be expected. But if you look around, you'll see there's brick pickups here, alongside a plank of wood. And if we look even further, we'll see there's graffiti and leaf debris which are just sort of floating in the air. And while most of this place is clearly scrapped because, you know, it is an empty void now, we do have an idea of where Jimmy would enter this destroyed building from. You see this locked door behind the bus stop? Well, if we pay a visit to the Fighting Johnny Vincent interior, we can see that this building is now gone and we have a path, which is sadly cut short. But this basically confirms that this is how Jimmy would have been able to enter this building. Also, the building that does block it off in the final version seems to have been moved to the left, as the junkyard map has this building where that massive empty space is in the final map. Also, if you look at the wall, in the final version of the map it does actually look a little bit off, like the building was clearly moved to cover up the now deleted area. So onto one of the biggest changes here, and it's the whole tenements building because it just sticks out like such a sore thumb, and it's much more noticeable of how inconsistent and different it is against its exterior, much more so than say Wolf Academy or the basement. Because when you first enter the tenements building, you don't really see anything wrong with it, but when you do go upstairs and go on the catwalk, which is needed in the mission to get Lola's items, you'll notice the exterior is, well, it's clearly not the same building that Jimmy entered. The entire building is actually bigger than the one Jimmy entered, and it appears to be wedged in an alleyway with a building sort of surrounding it. Well, technically not surrounding, because it looks like it's one massive combined building. Either way, it just looks weird because no place looks like this anywhere in Bulworth. And yes, Rockstar have done these interiors with slight exteriors before. Like how in, say, GTA Vice City you can still see the streets from the outside of Tommy's Hotel. But if we do look below, we can see a rather completed, rough looking alleyway. At least with the inconsistencies of like the school basement and Wolf Academy, they gave us an idea to what the map might have looked like. But this interior implies that Jimmy just somehow ended up in this concrete cell, I guess you could say, and just entered through the window. Also in the tenements we do have an unused room. In fact, if you go to the top floor, instead of going in this room where you go and get Lola's item, go in the opposite direction and you'll see a closed room. Now this room was going to be the one where you would fight Norton Williams initially. It's a much smaller room that remains locked in the mission, but modding inside the room, be it during the mission or outside of it, where the door is missing, we can see the entire room is just completely empty. There's no pickups, there's no props or anything inside here. The door that blocks the room in the mission is also referred to as Norton Door, which has probably changed in case players found it a bit too difficult to take on Norton Williams in such a small space, even though it is pretty much the easiest boss fight in Bully anyway. Speaking of more inconsistencies, one of the biggest plot holes with Bully is Lola's house. Okay, technically it's not a big plot hole because it's mentioned once, but anyway, during the Lola's race cutscene, when Jimmy turns up, Johnny says they're at Lola's house. However, one issue is they're clearly not at Lola's house because they're in the middle of the street, literally. On top of this, the characters are not even on the road, and they're sort of floating in the air. So it's clear as day that this entire cutscene was moved somewhere else. But even then, where is Lola's house supposed to be? Because it really looks like a deleted area. So now let's talk a bit about some cut features involving the greasers. So in the boys' dorm, sometimes you can see NPCs walk up to the TV, turn it on and enjoy the entertaining grasp of static. And while early articles written up about Bully mention the TV may have just displayed something, similar to how it is in GTA 4 to 6, if you turn it off, NPCs become hostile. Now this feature is still in the game, but what is cut is every single NPC has a specific quote about being angry that Jimmy turned their TV off. Even characters like the girls and the townies who have never seen watching TV at all have these. And since this is the Greasers video, I'll play their quotes here.
Turn that back on or so help me God!
Hey, Joker, turn that back on!
Could you turn that back on, please?
Hey, what are you doing? Seriously, leave it alone!
Got a death wish? That's my favorite show!
Yeah, thanks. It's not like I was watching anything.
Hey, that was a good commercial!
One cut feature is that Jimmy originally had the ability to buy items from various people, and they would come up to him and offer him some items. Vance and Lefty would be the greasers Jimmy could purchase items from.
Hey Jimmy, Want this? Hey, I got something you probably want.
Jimmy, my man, check out what I got for you. You looking to buy, Jimmy?
Cool, Jimmy. See you later, okay? Let's do business some other time.
Good. Now I can go get smokes. No refunds.
And somewhat related, but it also appears Peanut may have been hireable as a bodyguard at one point too, as he has leftover quotes accepting and rejecting the offer.
I'll be your ears, eyes, and fist, Jimmy. I'm gonna be your backup, man. I've had it with watching your butt all the time. From now on, you can fight your own battles, Jimmy. I need some backup here. Help! Help! With you all the way, Jimmy. Whatever you say, Jimmy. What? Are you nuts, so? Forget it. Like I'm gonna help you? Defend yourself. You gotta fight your own battles at Bullworth. What am I? Your bodyguard?
Peanut also has some odd files requesting Jimmy bring him some adult magazines. Not sure if this is an errand or not because these are named gift ram, and it's not known what that really means.
I'd think about it if you had any nudie mags. Maybe if you had some adult comics, it'd be cool.
Now there's 2 scrapped errands from Anniversary Edition only, which are fully playable on the PS2 and Scholarship Edition versions, and that is the car smashing errands given to you by Vance and Otto. The reason these were cut from Anniversary Edition is because there's a bug where the car damage just doesn't happen, and considering these errands require you to absolutely smash a car up, it would render the entire mission completely unbeatable. So it was probably scrapped to prevent you from being locked out of 100% completion. He'd give Jimmy an errand to find the pirate located near the shipwreck, and this one does actually list the pirate hat as a reward. This was likely removed because the nature of the errand actually works much better as something for the player to stumble across as an Easter egg by themselves, just exploring the map in free mode instead of just being flat out told about it. It could also be why the Pirate Vance fight is the only fight in the game that unlocks something as soon as you beat him. But another small errand change is that Lucky DeLuca may have taken Vance's place in the toilet paper errand.
Come on! Get me some paper or something! Help me out here!
Jimmy originally had unique insults for every single click. Instead of the usual "you suck," Jimmy would say something pertaining to that specific click.
Didn't you hear? The king is dead? What's with the hair, dumbass? You're a chump, grease boy. Greaser trash. Lola says you suck. What is this? 1957? You look absurd. You're a throwback. A genetic throwback. Even the other greasers say you suck. How can you think you're cool? You make me laugh, greaser.
And finally, when Jimmy pays a visit to Crabblesnitch's office, he does get a quick bollocking, and then the detention minigame starts. But Dr. Crabblesnitch would bring up Jimmy's behaviour with certain clicks, and these would also change depending on the chapter you were on as well. And this is what he would say in the case of the greasers.
Getting into fights with school lowlifes? I'm not surprised as much as disappointed, Jimmy. I understand that you dislike these so-called greasers, but this fighting is getting out of hand. I would recommend not tangling with Johnny Vincent and his friends too much. One day they may be your colleagues in some menial job somewhere. I don't understand why you have to fight Johnny Vincent's friends. You seem so alike. Is it over that girl? What's her name? What exactly is it you've been doing with Lola, Jimmy? Johnny Vincent is a bad influence, Jimmy. I want you to stay away from him.
Johnny!
Hey, big fella. How's it going?
Fine. Where's Johnny?
Why? Are you guys dating now?
No.
Then who cares about Johnny? I'm here. Listen, sweetie, I need a favor.
Okay.
I'm meeting Tad in a while, and I think a few of the boys might get the wrong idea. Especially your boyfriend, Johnny. He's so jealous and immature. Do you think you could hang around and make sure they don't beat Tad up while we're talking? Do you think you could do that for me? Sexy?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm meeting Tad in the alley behind the medical center. It's sort of a study date.
Oh, man.
hope he won't think I'm cheap. No one understands how much work it is to be hot. I hope he won't think I'm cheap. No one understands how much work it is to be hot. Those other girls are just jealous. I wish something exciting would happen. I don't know why Johnny would be mad at me. No one understands how much work it is to be hot. Those other girls are just jealous. I don't know why Johnny would be mad at me.
Let me get it closer to this move from my dad.
I hope he won't think I'm cheap. Think I'm cheap?
And that, I believe, is all the cut content and changes I could find with the greasers specifically. Hope you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and have a great day.